Alright, started. We can do the intro whenever.
Whenever as in now? Okay,
Yeah.
let's do it. Hello, everybody. Don't cut that beginning part out.
I won't.
Welcome to another episode. Have you heard it here? ... Eventually.
The two last dots are faster than the first dot. Don't forget
Yeah,
it.
there's a bigger space.
Yeah.
Like, it's very important. White space is important in the world of computers. It's important to us as well.
Listen,
We're both computer people.
I just had something at work come up where the entire problem was because of an invisible white space. And no one
Let me
saw
tell
it.
you. Let me tell you something about white space. I don't understand how it works in coding. I'm sure you do a little bit more than me. I had a project, like senior year of college, where we had like 5 enter characters somewhere in the code, and everything was broken.
Mhm.
We added a 6th one. It fixed everything. I'm not even kidding.
Yeah.
Like, we added one
sounds
extra
like
white
code.
space, and it worked. I don't understand. And it was like for Google Maps API.
Yeah.
Like, it was just to connect the API or something to like some weird thing that we were setting up for a school project.
Coding is just guessing and checking until you find something that worked.
That is why I hate coding.
Yeah.
I don't know. That's why I don't know. It's just too frustrating for me, and the payoff is not worth like figuring out what the problem is, especially when it's something so stupid.
See, and
like
that's why
that.
you don't like Dark Souls. And that's why I like
Yeah.
Dark Souls.
Yeah, exactly. I think
Well,
you need to have a programming mindset to like Dark
we've,
Souls.
We've uncovered the issue with your brain, or not issue, but why.
And I also take a little issue with that. I didn't hate Dark Souls. I was banned from playing it by Karina because I shouted so much of the game that it scared our dogs.
Oh, see, I didn't know that.
And I hated the magic build. If
Yeah.
you're gonna play Dark Souls as a fresh player, having never played before, never go magic. Maybe in Elden Ring it's different, but never. Well, actually, in Elden Ring, I actually heard the opposite. Like, magic was supposed to be when it first came out, like this ridiculous OP, like shit all over everybody thing,
Oh, damn.
where like you were just launched like 3 attacks at these hard bosses and crushed them. But yeah, no. I mean, I would definitely in Dark Souls itself never start with magic.
Yeah.
Biggest tip I could possibly give anyone starting out with that game, which is going to be giving myself that tip at some point. I'm sure I'll have to play it again.
Yeah. No, I think I had fun with Dark Souls. The hardest boss for me was definitely Smog and Ornstein or whatever. By
The
far.
duo.
Yeah.
They're the first get good boss.
Yeah. And I think
Like
I think for me personally, they were like the only. Everything else seemed like I go into the fight, I know what I have to do, I just can't do it. That one was like so unpredictable where I feel like you just need a good run. And I'm sure not everyone's like this, and some people can no damage that fight easy, but like for a first time player, I think that was like the hardest fight in the game. Harder than I also did oh wait, there is a DLC fight that's hard, Artorias. He's also hard, but that was like a fun fight. But like some people were saying that the dragon at the end of the DLC was super hard. I'm gonna be honest, I first tried him. I was very proud of myself for that one.
Oh, I know the dragon.
Calamite.
Yeah.
I don't think I should have first tried him. I think a lot of things that happened in that fight were bullshit. Like I would just like roll at the perfect time and for some reason not get burned, even though I should have gotten burned. But I'll take a win. A win's a win in my book.
Yeah. I mean, in Dark Souls, yeah, especially if you're only gonna play it once.
Exactly.
As soon as you beat the boss, like forget about it. If you lucked into it, so be it.
Yeah.
There's
I thought of a harder boss. What the fuck? Keep going.
I mean, in all the bosses, I'm trying to think of which
the
which
hardest.
one.
Okay, so by far Manus.
I was gonna say, I just thought of it too.
Yep,
Manus.
Me too.
Watching people fight Manus, it's like I don't think I'd ever want to fight this boss.
Yeah.
But if I ever play the game, I'll try it at least.
That one took me
go back
days, I think, or like, because I streamed for like about 3 to 4 hours.
You didn't beat it the first day you fought him. I remember this.
And same thing with Ornstein and Smog, and same thing with Artorias. I think both I ended stream without beating them.
Yeah. I mean, at some point you just need to take a break.
Yeah.
I'm sure that even like people that play these games all the fucking time do that.
Yeah.
Like if you just like are getting crapped on by a mechanic or something.
I am getting to play Elden Ring very, very soon. So I'm excited and scared. It's the next redeem.
That's the one after mine?
No, it's next.
That's before mine. It's gonna take you fucking forever, dude.
Listen, everyone is saying
you need to do 2 at the same time.
No, everyone is saying. Also, keep in mind how fast I beat Dark Souls. Everyone is saying Assassin's Creed Origins is by far the longest game on that list.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But I requested it. I don't care.
Yeah.
That's the one I want to get to.
So you're gonna get it. You're just gonna have to wait.
Yeah, I know. Elden Ring could be the longest. I'm sure that if you 100% Elden Ring, it takes longer than Assassin's Creed.
Yeah,
I think Assassin's Creed is probably only the longest game because I think in Origins they don't have a fast travel system the way they do in the other ones.
Oh my god, you're killing me here.
Yeah, I think I haven't played it yet, so I don't know. I mean, hell, when you start playing that game, maybe that's the game I'll start after God of War or something, and we'll play it at the same time.
There you go.
And then we can commiserate.
No,
together
God of War, you're gonna be very like before.
I know. Probably
I think I have Elden Ring after.
Well, no,
so
I mean, I'll start it.
Oh, you'll start it.
I'll start it whenever because I'll be done with God of War. I mean, I'm gonna do all the side stuff in God of War. So it's probably 2 more streams. I'm gonna stream it today.
Yeah, you'll probably do main story today, and then
I'll probably do the side stuff later. I don't know. It depends on how my dogs are. So
I'm very interested to see you fight the final boss in God of War.
Why?
Because it's just hard as shit, and you're on Give Me No Mercy.
Did you see me? All right, spoilers, by the way. Spoiler alert for God of War right now, real quick. Probably like, I don't know, like 5 minutes or so.
Yeah.
Did you see my fight against Heimdall?
I was streaming. I had you tabbed open sometimes, but I didn't hear anything. Oh, I saw it was glitched. I saw it was glitched.
He bugged for me.
Yeah.
And then fucking Kratos just running at him.
Yeah.
Just running at him, not able to connect. And I couldn't even take. I was barely taking any damage because for some reason the glitch also made him weak as shit or something.
Mm-hmm.
And so I had to just take like 12 hits in a row to die.
And
like
then
just so I could reset the fight. What?
It worked when he died?
It worked, yeah. I think what happened was like, so when he starts on that fucking mount, I think somehow the mount hit me when I killed him. And he did damage to me. So going into that cutscene, I was like through some sort of like damage thing. I don't know how it happened. But then it's so weird because the first time I hit Heimdall, it worked.
Oh.
And then after that, it just stopped working. And I was like, what am I supposed to do here? I thought it was a mechanic of the game or something. And then someone I think it was Blue, like was watching me do that fight because you had just started streaming or something. And he didn't move over yet. And he was like, yeah, this is bugged. I was like, oh, thank God he's here to tell me because I might have tried this for like another like 10 to 15 minutes thinking like, oh, Heimdall's mechanic is he's not really that touchable. Maybe I'm doing something wrong. And I would try like a bunch of other fucking things, different weapons. I don't know.
But yeah, so that's funny. I didn't have any glitches like that. That's why I didn't win Game of the Year.
Yeah. That glitch is why I didn't win Game of the Year. Okay.
What was I gonna say? Okay, so now we're gonna. I figure we'll do. Do you want to do winners first or announcements first? I'm just gonna. We both will probably be somewhat speed round unless we care enough to talk about it. But
we're gonna start with this and then do like big titties or whatever.
Well, one of my big titties
gonna be
is an announcement. Yeah.
Yeah. Mine. What is it? The same announcement?
Probably not.
Okay.
I don't know. I don't know.
We'll do titty after then.
Okay. So do you want? Or I'll do titty in the middle titty.
All right, fine. When you get to your thing,
yeah,
say this is my titty of the week, and then when you get to mine, I'll say this is my titty.
Yeah. But do you want to start with winners or announcements? Because my titty's in the announcements.
My titty's also in the announcements. Let's do announcements first.
Okay. So things that were announced. First one's my titty. Final Fantasy 16 got a release date. Got a collector's edition. I know your big titty. Yeah,
$300.
I'm buying it. I think I'm gonna do it.
I know you're buying it. Of course
I'm gonna try because it comes out December 12th at like 6 p.m. my time. The website was crashed when the website went up, so I'm gonna try to get it. But we'll see if I do. If I can get it though, 100% getting that. There's a badass statue. There's like a cloth map, but you get that in the deluxe one too, I think. Very excited. Also, we got a release date, June 22nd, 2023.
Oh, we knew it was 2023 already.
Yeah, we just didn't know it was June.
Yeah. No, didn't we? Because wasn't the timing?
They might have said
we knew generalities because
they might have said quarter 2 or quarter 3.
But we knew how like it was like the 7, like the Crisis Core, then 16, then Remake Part 2.
But Remake Part 2 is like I think December. So yeah, we had the entire year.
We knew it was about 6 months apart though. So like, all right, they just basically it was June. Now it's like June 22nd.
Yeah,
I think.
So that's my big titty. Very excited. Next, From Software announced their next game after Elden Ring. It's called Armored Core 6: Fires of Rubicon. Looks like a robot-y game, which is kind of cool.
Well, it's a series. It's an existing series.
It is? There's
Yeah,
Armored Core 1 through 5?
Yeah, Armored Core is an existing series. Co-Carnage specifically went on Twitter and was like, "Holy shit, it's coming finally."
Oh, I thought that this was just like a weird, like they're just for some reason naming the first game 6.
Well, they would do that, so
yeah,
it's not ridiculous for you to think that, but I knew it was an existing series. I think it was.
Is it like Souls?
People
like
love it. No, I don't think so.
Okay.
It might be more difficult than most or something. I've never played it. I remember like back in like G4 TV days, I think like Armored Core like 4 came out or something like a long time ago. And it was like basically like what was his name? Steven something's Morgan Webb and Steven something. It was like his favorite game of all time or something. I don't know why, but that's jumping out of my memory.
Maybe I'll check it out. Hades 2 was announced, which is very cool because Hades won game of the year in 2020. Love Hades. I
have some coworkers. It's their favorite game of all time.
Yeah, and it makes literally sense. Like it's a very fun game. I have it on my Steam Deck. Sometimes I'm just in bed chilling playing Hades. Very fun game. Kind of surprised that it's getting a sequel already, only because like one, it's Souls like, so like it's not like God of War where 2 years later, 3 years later you can get a sequel, or I guess in our case 4. But yeah, very cool.
You mean it's roguelike?
Yeah.
Did I sound Souls like?
Oh, yeah, roguelike. Next is the creator of BioShock revealed his next game, Judas. First person in BioShock in space vibes is what they're saying.
Really? So that sounds cool. I never played BioShock. That was
I've heard I've heard they're awesome. Yeah, I have all of them too.
They were free at some point. The collection was free on PS4 or something.
Yeah.
So I have them from PS Plus.
Yeah, I'd like to play them eventually.
On my list. They're like a little bit horror aspect though, so I've always been very tentative.
Yeah.
Like, I don't want to be scared. I would say they're.
I think because I've played, I want to say like 10 hours of the first one. I don't think there's much horror, like jump scary. I think it's just scary vibes. Like you're in this like
abandoned.
First
time you see a big daddy and stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We're getting Walking Simulator 2, Death Stranding 2. Very cool, I guess. If you played the first one, I never played it. All I know is you hold a baby in it.
Well, it's into your case or whatever. I know a little bit. I mean, I'm pretty sure what happens is like it's like time-based enemies, and they kill you by basically like aging you out, and then the baby is just like a clone of you that takes over your.
So it's like roguelike in that sense.
I have no idea. Beyond that, I have no idea, to be honest. I know like people that bought it and were like, yeah, it's okay. It's not like the best thing ever.
I think I have it on Steam because it was on sale or something, but never played it. Cyberpunk 2077 expansion was announced. We see Idris Elba, which is cool.
And he's in everything, but he's awesome, so I allow it.
Yeah. I've heard when this shit comes out, people are saying buy this game because it's fixed again. So I might when this comes out. Or like
Cyberpunk, it's a full game now.
I've heard it's like actually good, and if it is, and since I never experienced any of the bugs, I'll go in it with a fresh, open mind. If it's actually as good as people are saying it is.
Apparently, it is too. Now I'm just kind of waiting for it to go on sale, but it's not going to go on sale anytime soon.
It was. It was $30. Like I don't know if it still is, but it was $30 like very recently on Steam.
Oh really? Yeah. I thought once it was fully fixed, I haven't seen it on sale. I guess I missed that one.
Yeah,
but like now they got to make up for all the money they lost.
Yeah.
From people returning like the digital editions and shit like that, and like Sony and Microsoft being pissed they had to take it down from the store.
Yeah,
because they couldn't release a finished game. So I'm sure that it's not now that it's like a full game. I really expect it not to go on sale very often. But if it is on sale at some point in the future, you gotta let me know if you see it.
I shall. Next is Star Wars Jedi Survivor. We got a confirmation is March 17th, 2023, which is sick. It's gonna be 5 years after the original.
Like a time skip.
Yeah.
Right.
He has like
there's no DLC in between or anything, right?
No.
All right.
So there was a whole trailer. I didn't watch it. All I saw is there was a still where he had a lightsaber and he had the freaking Kylo Ren shits. So that's cool. I'm glad they're making
like a broadsword style.
Yeah. Because it is somewhat Souls-like, where like
if it's on the hardest difficulty.
Well, yeah.
Like
what if it's on
Grandmaster
the? Yeah. but also like when you die, you collect your souls type thing, or I forget what they're called in that game. And the parrying is like a big thing. What I remember about this game. So very Souls like in that aspect. So that's cool. Broadsword. I'm excited. I'll probably stream the first one somewhat within the next 4 months then, because I want to play that day one. We got Diablo 4, June 2023. I'm gonna be honest, I know literally nothing about Diablo. So not too excited, but it's cool for people who like it. I know it's a very popular series.
Yeah. I've never played it really.
Yeah.
I remember in Diablo 3 their big thing was the cash auction house where you could make real world money.
Yeah.
Selling stuff, and if you were really good at the game, then you like made a couple $1,000s and then you were done with it.
Yeah. We got a release date for Street Fighter 6, June 2nd. It's cool. Was never too big on Street Fighter. I like fighting games, but never got too big into Street Fighter, so maybe this one will get me into it. Suicide Squad Kill the Justice League got a release date, and we know it will be Kevin Conroy's last performance as Batman, which is very sad. I'm sure it's gonna be very emotional, but it's gonna be fucking cool. What's gonna be very weird is if you have to kill Batman. It's gonna be very weird.
That'd be
that's
interesting.
A mission. But it's like I don't want them to change the game because he died. But I will say it'd be very weird to do that.
Yeah, but I mean the Batman universe, they have so many different people who could fill the shoes, not as Batman, but as the other characters and stuff.
Yeah,
they could do it for like a little while and then have him come back in the series somehow. Is this game going to officially be part of like the James Gunn Arkhamverse versus like the new DC verse?
No, that's the movies.
No. James Gunn and the other guy who took over, they basically said that there's going to be a cohesive universe, and it's going to be the movies, the comics, the television shows, and the games.
Oh, I don't think
the games have. Yeah, but I mean, now they have the authority to cancel and change games. Yeah. So there's so the game might end up getting changed at some point.
Yeah. All I know is Gotham Knights was not Arkhamverse. That was standalone. This one is Arkhamverse, so it's technically a sequel to Arkham Knight.
I wonder if they're gonna just totally erase Arkhamverse or not. Because he's made a point. No, but here's the thing. Games every time people ask him about the cohesive universe.
Thing. A big thing with just like Marvel, DC has a huge multiverse, so it's beneficial to keep multiple universes with DC. So who knows? Maybe that's what he meant also. Like, because you know how like the people love to shit on the CW shows. I used to watch them. I don't watch them anymore. But their whole thing was they had a Crisis on Infinite Earths event, and they brought in Ezra Miller's Flash for like a quick cameo into the thing. So maybe what he means is.
Yeah, they had multiple Supermans and stuff. Yeah.
Yeah, maybe what he means is like, oh, we're gonna like cross over with them, but we are still our own universe type of thing. I don't know.
Well, I'm sure DCU, or not EU, the DC cinematic stuff.
Yeah,
I'm sure. Not to go on the tangent here, because this might be its own topic. I want to bring up this topic again later anyway, so we don't spend a lot of time. But I mean, like in multiple interviews, because now they're making big changes, which is what I want to talk about after we're done with the game awards stuff. But he's made a point to say like basically everything that comes out DC for the next like 10 years has to be part of their plan that they're working out now. Like include like from the TV shows that they're going to release to the games to the movies that they're like either they're putting on the chopping block, and like the characters that they're casting, they're going to sign actors, I think, basically to Marvel like deals where it's going to be like 14 things, might be some games, some other things. So they want consistency and cohesion among the entire DC set of like intellectual property.
Listen, DC was so bad, I will give them another chance if it's resetting it. Like I really don't care.
Yeah, I think James Gunn is gonna do like just outstanding work with it. I mean, I have a little bit of concerns as to what he might do right away, right off the bat.
I don't think
again, we'll talk about it after the game awards stuff.
I don't think this announcement for DC games or like them taking over was 2 months ago. 3 months ago, something like that.
Well, they're walking in this week to do their pitch. So since the game hasn't come out yet, there is a chance where like the head honchos at DC might be like, we got to change this game a bit. It's getting delayed.
No, but I think it would be more so like don't show a trailer if we have a plan to change it. And there wasn't a release date either. It's like, why have a release date if we're planning on changing it anyway? I think they would be like, they'd say something like, oh, we are going to pitch something for this game. Don't announce anything right now. Even if they can't say what they were going to announce, I think is safe just because of the weird timing of the announcements and them taking over. I think it's safe. There was a clip of Super Mario Bros. Released. That's the movie. Whatever, I'll watch it. We've talked about it before. Tekken 8 trailer. I didn't watch it. I love Tekken. It was one of my first games of all time ever played. Tekken Tag Tournament on the PS2. Love that game. And yeah, the combat looks freaking cool. I mean, I don't know if they showed combat, but like the graphics look sick. Here's your big titty. Horizon Forbidden West Burning Shores DLC. It's going to be taking place
that is my big titty.
in LA.
Yeah, in the West Coast, which is like we go there in the game, kind of. Cool. Like you go, but I mean, they show the Hollywood sign on fire, like totally destroyed and stuff.
Mm-hmm.
It's like thousands of years in the future, the Earth was totally razed to the ground, but the Hollywood sign survived.
That's funny. Also, it is exclusive to PS5 players, which like thank God, because that's what was so not so cool, but I love that about Intergrade because they were able to like graphically do cooler things than just with Final Fantasy VII Remake.
Yeah, they're not handcuffing themselves to old last gen consoles. Thank God.
Also, you need to play that shit. I just realized. God damn it. Intergrade.
The Intergrade stuff? Yeah.
God damn it. Do it. Crash Team Rumble, new 4v4 multiplayer game. Don't know anything about it.
It's looked interesting. I didn't realize Crash had such a huge universe that they could have their own Rumble.
Is this like
it's like a fighting game. It's like Smash.
Oh,
it's like Smash. Based on what I saw from like the
stills I did not know they had a cast this big.
So I wasn't watching. I had it on my phone to try and win that free Steam Deck.
Mm-hmm.
I like had enrolled for it every minute they gave it away.
Mm-hmm.
But I was at a Harry Potter Forbidden Forest experience thing where you walk through and they have all these animatronics and stuff. So I just had it in my pocket. So I wasn't watching, but I would pull it out from time to time to make sure the video didn't pause. And I saw a little bit of this. This is like one of the only things I actually saw in real time.
I did see that MILF Hunter won a Steam Deck during the Game Awards, his username. So that's cool. I'm glad he
hilarious. Won. I mean, it's a mature. I mean, all the Game of the Year nominees were mature rated. So I mean, what are you gonna do?
Warhammer 40,000 or 40K, however you say it. Don't care about it. It's cool, I guess. New game. I don't know if it's a new game, DLC.
I like the universe. I like the the universe is like supposed to be on par with like Dungeons and Dragons stuff. It's just more sci-fi than fantasy or something.
Oh, okay.
Is like what I think it's supposed to be like, but I've seen people play it. I know they had that like first-person shooter game come out. Now they're gonna have like an RTS game that I think there's like an alpha for that the biggest streamers get like the keys for, and they get to stream it and show off like some of the early build things.
Mm-hmm.
So I think that's got to be the one that they showed there. But that's actually, I mean, I like the IP, like the concept of it. I want to get more. They have tons of books.
Yeah.
Tons. When I would go to Barnes & Noble and I would look for like World of Warcraft books, I would see just a wall of Warhammer books. I was like, what the fuck is this? Like, I had never played it. And the covers look cool. But now that I've like heard more about it, mostly because Henry Cavill is such a huge nerd about it, like, and I see stuff on his Instagram about it, it does seem interesting. And I am interested in the universe in general.
All right. Celeste's creators next game, Earthblade. I've heard people love Celeste. I think I played like an hour of it or something. It was fun. But it's coming out 2024.
It was a nominee for Game of the Year the same year that God of War 1 won.
Mm-hmm.
Or got 2018 one, so like in 2018. I mean, like, I've seen it played a ton. I don't see how it's like really like like genre breaking. It looks fun, but there's like a ton of other games that are just like it. So I'm excited for this guy's next game. I never really played Celeste, but I would play Celeste for sure.
Yeah.
It looks fun.
Yeah, same.
I just don't see it as like this like genre breaking like Game of the Year contender. Like surprise, it was basically like the Stray of that year, I think.
Yeah.
Like.
But Stray also, that's something that I do want to play. I've heard for it to get a Game of the Year nomination, I think it has to be somewhat enjoyable.
It's like 6 hours of gameplay too, so it's not exactly like you could do it in one stream probably.
Yeah. Bayonetta Origins was announced, which is cool, I guess. I don't know if it looks like Bayonetta. I'm seeing like one still from a paused trailer. I don't know if the gameplay is different. But I want to get into Bayonetta. I've heard it's very cool. And apparently this is a prequel where you control a young version of some Bayonetta 3 characters. So So yeah, that's cool. Hellboy's getting a stylish video game adaptation. I
Oh,
love
that's
the
so
old
cool.
movies.
So you know what? I actually was talking about this with my PT recently.
Hmm.
Do you realize that David Harbour was the one that tried to reboot it?
Yeah,
I did not know. I did not recognize that because I wasn't into Stranger Things at the time. I think he tried to do it before Stranger Things. If he tried to do that now, I bet you a lot of people wouldn't just write it off right away.
yeah.
Because he's such a better known actor at this point. He's in the Marvel universe. He's Stranger Things, the main
Mhm.
reason why you watch the whole fucking series. And now he's fucking Santa Claus.
Yeah,
He's the Santa Claus of our generation. So like he could definitely do Hellboy now. The problem he did was it was so soon after the Ron Perlman ones, and Ron Perlman is a really fucking good Hellboy.
yeah. I think I saw like the first one of the Ron Perlman ones. Those are good.
I like the
Um,
first one the best. I like it better than the second one. The second one, Guillermo del Toro just went a little too like I don't know any of the mythos of Hellboy.
mhm.
I just think he went way too deep into it after the first game went basically not into it at all.
Yeah,
I mean, not the first game, the first movie. So it really should have been like Guillermo del Toro should have done multiple movies where he really introduced you to this like Hellboy like universe where there's actually like dwarves and elves and all these other things,
mhm.
and then went into like this like Golden Army or whatever the fuck it was called.
Yeah. Um, it's called Hellboy Web of Word, WYRD, and it's a roguelite action adventure. So that's cool. Crime Boss Rock A City announced with cast including Chuck Norris, Danny Trejo, and Vanilla Ice. It looks like a stealth action FPS with tasks players with becoming leaders of a criminal underworld in a fictional version of 90s Florida. The picture's giving me GTA vibes, I guess.
90s Florida, like Miami Vice or something.
I
What
guess
is
so, yeah.
90s Florida?
Well,
I don't
see,
know.
I'm seeing Chuck Norris in a cowboy hat. I'm seeing Danny Trejo in a fedora. There's some dude out here who looks like Elvis Presley.
Yeah.
So I don't know what's going on with this game. Um, Lords of the Fallen. It's a Souls-like reboot apparently. Dark
People
fantasy.
people were like jizzing their pants about this one.
Apparently,
I've
it's a
never heard of this before.
RPG set in a dark fantasy world. This game is a reboot of sorts from 2016 Lords of the Fallen and takes place 1,000 years after the original in a world 5 times larger than that. So it's not a reboot, but it's the type of like time skip where it's basically a reboot. It's 1,000 years,
Yeah.
nothing's gonna matter.
It's a sequel. They'll probably have like Easter eggs to the first one or something.
Yeah, or maybe
But
like
yeah.
the big bad will be the same big bad from the first game or something.
Maybe
yeah.
like I don't know if like people are like fucking immortal in that
Yeah.
series or whatever. But yeah, they might have like 3 or 4 characters that are
Yeah.
the same.
The aesthetics look cool of the game. Maybe I'll check it out.
People were so excited about it that it did make me want to look it up. I just haven't. I mean, Game Awards was 2 nights ago.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was Thursday night, and we're recording this Saturday, as
Yeah.
we do every single fucking week now.
We've
Thank you very
been
much.
3 weeks in a row. We've been on top of it. What was I gonna say? No, I forgot.
The next thing after Lords of the Fallen, I think.
No, it was something with Lords of the Fallen, but I'll ignore it. Some PC announcements. Last of Us Part 1 is going to be on PC March 3rd. Returnal's going to be on PC in early 2023. Blah 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 blah. Baldur's Gate 3 has released at a release window of August 2023.
That game has been in like early access for like 2 years or something now. Beast Smells has played it like 9 times from start to finish. Every time they release a major update, he plays a new character.
That's funny. I've never played it.
It's like Divinity and stuff.
Never played
it. It's like oh god. I don't know, it's like an isometric RPG. You've played those in general. Like it's an isometric
give me an
RPG.
example of one that you know I played.
Basically tactics, but without the tactics part.
Okay.
Like without the board. It's like a tactics game, but without the board and without being necessary. And it can be turn based or like real time based, like action gauge based.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
There's a demo of Forspoken now on the PSN, which is a game I am excited for just based on the trailer that I saw. So I might actually play that.
I think that was I think it was first announced during I think it was first announced during the Summer Games Fest or something. It was one that I also had.
That was like E3 like a year ago or 2 years ago.
Oh, really?
Or no, I think it was a PlayStation State of Play. Like a while ago. Yeah.
I need to look this up then. I must be confusing it with another game.
Transformers Reactive is an online action game developed by Splash Damage. Tell a new Transformers story and will let players fully immerse themselves in a universe unlike before. Don't know much about that. Was never huge on Transformers. Banisher Ghost of New Eden announced. New action RPG starring a pair of ghost hunters. Banishers takes place in 1695 in the haunted wilds of North America. Follow these two who are romantically involved as they work to stop the threat of lingering ghosts and specters to protect the living. I don't really like 1600s like old timey bullshit usually, but if the gameplay's cool, I maybe she'll check it out.
Yeah, sounds like The Order 1886 or something.
Yeah. Single player Magic first person shooter, Immortals of Avium announced. That sounds right up your alley. Magic first person shooter.
Yeah, I could play it. I haven't played Magic the Gathering in quite some time.
No, not
That
Magic.
is...
I think Magic. Like
Oh, it wasn't Magic the Gathering?
You're shooting.
I could have sworn you said The Gathering. Isn't it Magic the Gathering?
I don't. If I read that, it doesn't say The Gathering anywhere on this page.
Oh, okay. All right. Then I misheard that. Then I don't know why.
This title is an EA original and comes from devs that have previously worked on Dead Space, Halo, and BioShock.
Oh wow.
Yeah.
I mean, EA by itself, not really a big selling point for me, but the other ones are successful games. So.
I don't know what Remnant is, but there's a sequel for that announced, a looter shooter.
Oh, that's cool.
Yeah.
That's like looter shooters are like Borderlands.
Oh, okay. Bandai announced it will publish Blue Protocol when it's released outside of Japan in 2023.
I also saw
MMO.
this. Yeah, I also saw this, like people like jizzing their pants over, but that just might be because it's anime style and I follow a lot of anime people.
Yeah.
So
anime MMO
sounds
which
interesting.
Features 5 classes: Blade Warden, Twin Striker, Keen Strider, Spellweaver, and Foe Breaker. Seems cool. 2023. The real platformer After Us was announced. The game will set on a post-human Earth where players become Gaia, the spirit of life. Throughout the game, players will need to salvage the souls of extinct animals and revive them after learning their fate.
Sounds interesting.
Yeah, that's like the I Am Jesus game. Replaced is a new game. Retro futuristic platformer in a dark alternative 1980s America. That's cool. Vampire Survivors is on mobile now. There's a Dead Cells DLC. Valiant Hearts is coming to mobile devices soon. Colossal Cave, don't know. Okay, we're getting to the point where there's no more paragraphs. I'm just reading shit off. Colossal Cave is a game. Wild Hearts is a game. Call of Duty Modern Warfare 2 raids. What the fuck? There's raids in Call of Duty Modern Warfare 2?
I guess maybe there will be. I don't know. Like if it means raids and it doesn't mean like it's going to like mobile.
Yeah. Fire Emblem Engage DLC. There's a Dune game coming out, which I don't know how I feel about that.
I've seen that.
Yeah.
It's that they announced during Summer Games Fest. They had like a in-engine trailer.
Yeah.
It's supposed to be like survival MMO, something like
that. Destiny 2 DLC. Among Us Hide and Seek, stupid as fuck. Horizon Call of the Mountain is the PSVR one.
VR.
That's everything. So yeah, a lot of cool, exciting shit that I'm somewhat interested in. Most of them.
They probably announced more than they had awards.
Yeah, honestly.
Like that was a long ass list. That was way longer than I thought it was gonna end up being.
I know. I scrolled down to the bottom first because the top one is Game of the Year. So I figured we'll just go bottom up.
Yeah, I mean the first few probably won't really be that.
Yeah.
Have that much to talk about. So go ahead.
Player's Voice, Genshin Impact. People are very upset about this because apparently Genshin botted or something. I don't care. I'm probably gonna get fucking primo gems in the game, and I'll probably be able to summon more shit. So cool. Bot all you want.
Yeah.
It did be Sonic Frontiers, Elden Ring, God of War Ragnarok, and Stray, which is kind of surprising. But
I saw the news that Sonic Frontiers and Genshin Impact were ahead of it.
Yeah.
Like ahead of Elden Ring and God of War, which is like what the hell. So yeah, that makes sense.
Best esports was the World Championship for League. Esports coach, some dude from Valorant. Esports team, Valorant Loud. Esports athlete, Jacob Whitaker. Esports game, Valorant. Most anticipated game. I don't know. Do you know what won this? Because I'll let you guess what people voted for if you don't.
Most anticipated game?
I'll give you the options, but do you know who won?
Give me the options. No, I don't know who won.
Final Fantasy 16, Hogwarts Legacy, Resident Evil 4, Starfield, or Tears of the Kingdom, Breath of the Wild.
Tears of the Kingdom.
Yeah. So that one.
Yeah, that makes sense because Nintendo fans will be the ones that vote the most.
Yeah.
So,
best adaptation. It was between Arcane, which I haven't watched it. I've heard it's fucking incredible. Cyberpunk
I have
Edge
also
Runners.
heard that is amazing. I've
Yeah.
heard both of those are amazing.
Yeah.
So, all right.
The Cuphead Show, Sonic the Hedgehog 2, and the Uncharted movie.
The last two, there's no way they won.
Yeah.
Which one won?
Arcane.
Okay. And you know, I think just today or something, because I saw the trailer for it, the Dragon Age show on Netflix, I think, released.
Oh, really?
I'm interested for that. I'm interested in that too. Never played the games, but like, again, I've had a couple of friends who love Dragon Age, so I added it to my list immediately. I'll probably actually watch that while my girlfriend is in Mexico for the next week.
Best debut indie game, Stray. I don't know the other one, so I'm not even gonna read them. But Stray won. That makes sense.
I mean, it's a game of the year contender. How could anything else on that list win, right?
Yeah. Like, content creator of the year, Ludwig, representing today, not on purpose, just coincidentally.
Who were the other nominees for that one?
Carl
that one I'm curious
Jacobs.
about. Never heard of him.
Ludwig. Nobelion. I don't know that one. So I know 3 of the people on the list. I know Carl. I know Ludwig. I don't know Nobelion. I don't know Nobrew. And then Cutie Cinderella, who's Ludwig's girlfriend.
Yeah. Okay.
And so yeah, Ludwig won. Best multiplayer. Honestly, I'm a little surprised. So the nominees were Modern Warfare 2, Multiverses, Overwatch 2, Splatoon 3, and then TMNT Shredder's Revenge. And guess what won?
As long as it's not Splatoon, I'm happy.
Splatoon 1.
What? Why?
Insane. I've played it.
Why? Like, people just hate the other ones? They probably just hate the IPs or something.
I guess so.
Holy shit. And this isn't fan voted. This is like one of the legit ones right now.
I believe so. I'm not sure. Well, I'm actually not sure how voting works, because I know you could have voted for Content Creator of the Year. That was a voting one. So I don't know.
Well, that one makes sense. They like what would the criteria be based off? It has to be voting based, and Ludwig's going to win for the next like 10 years in a row then.
I think Carl Jacobs actually won last year or something. So that's why he was probably on it again. He's a Mr. Beast guy. Like he's one of the people in that crew.
Okay.
But yeah, I don't know.
Splatoon, come on.
Yeah.
I've never played the games, but I've played the character in Super Smash Bros. I hate that character.
I will say, I've played the single player for Splatoon 1. Very fun. Very fun.
You beat it in 4 hours.
Yeah. And I love that. I did a whole redeem. I checked the thing off my list in 4 hours. It was great. But the multiplayer, it just feels like I am just like 75 years old trying to keep up with these fucking 2-year-olds, and I just can't. Everyone's
the mechanics are just so different, right? Because you gotta do all the paint shit, and you gotta swim through the paint to position yourself right.
And it's like everyone's like, "Oh, try gyro controls. Try gyro controls. They're so much better." And I try them, and I'm like having a stroke. I'm trying to move, and I'm spinning my Switch around, and it doesn't make sense to me.
It's surprising that anything multiplayer from Nintendo won for a multiplayer category. Like, seriously. I mean, congratulations to Splatoon 3.
Yeah.
But like, holy shit! Out of that list, I would have never expected it.
I know.
In a million years, I would have never voted. I would have never picked that one. I would have picked another game twice after you told me no the first time. Before I was like, oh, it must be Splatoon 3.
Best sports racing was Gran Turismo 7. Best sim/strategy was Mario plus Rabbids Spark of Hope, which is cool. I've heard those games are cool. Never played them.
I've heard they're good. Yeah, they're like XCOM style, like battlefield combat tactics style things. Yeah.
Best family was between Kirby and the Forgotten Land, Lego Star Wars: The Skywalker Saga, Mario Rabbids again, Nintendo Switch Sports, and Splatoon 3. This time, Kirby won, which is great. I love Kirby. Best fighting game was a game I never heard of, DNF Duel, JoJo's Bizarre Adventure, All-Star Battle Royale R, or All-Star Battle R, King of Fighters 15, Multiverses, and Sifu. Multiverses won that one.
Yeah, I've never heard of that, but it was a contender. It was something earlier.
You never heard of Multiverses? No. Yeah, you have. It's the Warner Brothers fighting games. You got like LeBron James and Arya Stark and Shaggy. Yeah, you know Multiverses.
Okay, yeah. All right. Wow, I did not think that was the name of that game. I don't know why. What did I think the name of that game was?
I have no idea.
I guess I've just never cared.
Yeah. Best role playing was between Elden Ring, Live a Live, or Live Alive, Live a Live. I don't know. Pokemon Legends Arceus, Triangle Strategy, and Xenoblade Chronicles 3. Elden Ring took that one.
Elden Ring, yeah.
Best action adventure. We already know what won, but it was God of War Ragnarok. Best action game went to Bayonetta 3, which that's why I want to get into Bayonetta, like I mentioned earlier. Because if it won of action, I like action games, so it must be somewhat decent. Best VR/AR was Moss Book 2. I don't know what's up with these AR titles. Innovation in accessibility. God of War Ragnarok won that, which is sick. Shouts out, letting people play, allowing people to play.
Right.
Best community support was between Apex Legends, Destiny 2, Final Fantasy 14, Fortnite, and No Man's Sky. 14 took that one home.
Yeah, makes sense.
I got someone reported in that game recently. Nothing probably happened to him. Fuck that guy. I hate him. Best mobile game was between Apex Legends Mobile, Diablo Immortal, Genshin Impact, which I don't know how I feel about that being on mobile game, but I digress. Marvel Snap and Tower of Fantasy, which is the Genshin Impact clone. Marvel Snap won that game, which I've played a little bit of Marvel Snap.
I've downloaded that. I've downloaded that, but I have not played yet.
It's kind of
because I got other games and I don't want to add another one to like.
It's not a daily one.
I'm on my phone.
It does have a battle pass, but it's not really like Dokkan where you're like doing like dailies and shit. But yeah, it's pretty fun. I haven't played it in a little bit. I have it on my iPad. I love my iPad also. I use it everywhere. My friends make fun of me because when we went on vacation, I would just go around like before I go to bed, I'm on my iPad and they called me an iPad kid because I was out here like choosing my YouTube video and they were calling me an iPad baby. Which listen, I think we're in the era. If you're not an iPad baby, you're like a super freak parent. Just give them the iPad, they'll do whatever the fuck they want. Easy.
I mean, they have tablets marketed directly to kids. Most of the Amazon ones.
Exactly. You get one of those like handles. Tablet. You get one of those handles with the big blue borders.
Yeah. The big Nerf like Defender thing. Yeah.
Your kid will be set for days.
I have an Amazon Fire tablet, but it's trash. I want to get a new one. I was thinking about getting an iPad, but like I literally have nothing else Apple, so it doesn't make as much sense to me.
It's fine.
No, I think I'm just gonna get a Samsung one.
I've
had the Samsung equivalent.
Yeah, I've had a Samsung one, but this was like back when like the Galaxy S3 was like a thing.
Basically, you got the first Galaxy, you got the Samsung Tab, the first one ever. Now they have like multiple models and stuff. Yeah.
Going back, best indie was between Cult of the Lamb, Neon White, Sifu, Stray, and Tunic. Stray won.
Stray, of course. It's on Game of the Year.
Best ongoing, Apex Legends, Destiny 2, Final Fantasy 14, Fortnite, or Genshin.
14.
Yep.
Yeah.
Games for
Impact.
It's an
MMO.
Yeah. It's always getting support. Best games for Impact. I'm gonna be honest. I know none of these games on this list.
What does that even mean?
I don't know.
What does this title even mean?
Games for Impact. Award. No idea.
Like cultural impact?
I guess so, but like I would argue Game of the Year has the biggest cultural impact. But
yeah.
Best performance was between Ashley Birch as Aloy in Forbidden West, Charlotte McBurney as Amicia in Plague Tale Requiem, Christopher Judge as Kratos in Ragnarok.
Fantastic.
Manon Gage as Marcel in Immortality, and Sonny Suljic as Atreus in God of War Ragnarok.
Get him off that list. Obviously, Christopher Judge would beat him any day of the week. So
yeah,
I hope Christopher Judge won.
He won.
Thank God.
He also gave the longest speech, and I think Geoff was getting a little upset at him.
Yeah, he actually went to Twitter and said that he got cut off, and he had one more thanks left, and it was his wife, and he couldn't even have time to thank his wife. I mean, didn't he win for 2018 also?
I think so.
I think he won just so. I mean, yeah, he's fantastic. Like, give him all the time he needs, especially when we get to the last game.
Yeah. Best audio design. So this is shit like footsteps and shit. I'm pretty sure.
Yeah.
Call of Duty Modern Warfare 2, Elden Ring, Ragnarok, Gran Turismo 7, and Forbidden West. Ragnarok won.
Oh, nice. Ooh, I wouldn't be able to tell you what to pick for that.
Because I don't think that that's a huge category. It's cool that it won. I just don't think it's like as big as like best action adventure or whatever. Best score in music: A Plague Tale: Requiem, Elden Ring, God of War Ragnarok, Metal Hellsinger, and Xenoblade Chronicles 3.
Dude, I hope Ragnarok won this because I
It won
love
that
the
shit.
music.
Hell yeah.
I love the music in Ragnarok.
It gives me chills.
Every character's theme song, anytime the Kratos theme comes on, I get goosebumps.
I know.
Because
so
you know
good.
something badass either just happened or camera's gonna pan to Kratos doing some kind of badass shit, man. When he's had so many, just in this one game, he's had like 4 badass entrances.
Yeah.
From like awesome. Not being in the like, amazing. All right, go ahead.
Best art direction: Elden Ring, Ragnarok, Forbidden West, Scorn, or Stray. Elden Ring won that one.
I guess they had to give it something so that it had to win more than one other award. If Ragnarok won like 19.
Yeah. Well, I'm gonna at the bottom. I'm gonna go and say how many awards each game won, or like the top ones. Best narrative: Plague Tale: Requiem, Elden Ring, Ragnarok, Forbidden West, or Immortality. Ragnarok obviously won that.
Plague Tale's on a lot of these lists, and I've never really noticed much about the series, but it's interesting. I guess I should look more into that.
Well, no, I think it's a game that it's a survival horror stealth. Literally stuff that you don't
I'm
like.
never gonna play it. Yeah, there's no way I'm gonna play it. But I should watch like a walkthrough on YouTube or something about like the first game and now this one.
Yeah, maybe I'll play it.
And watch it that way then,
Yeah. Best game direction, which I don't know what that means either.
Like the game director. Like who? Like the game director? Like the person that put everything together?
Because like for music, the person who did the music was like in the parentheses. This one, it's just the studio. So yeah, maybe it means like game direction. Like I don't know. Like I really don't know. Elden Ring, Ragnarok, Forbidden West, Immortality, or Stray. Elden Ring took that one. And then Game of the Year. It was between, we already know the answer, but it was between 2 games,
basically.
Plague Tale: Requiem, Elden Ring, Ragnarok, Forbidden West, Stray, and Xenoblade Chronicles 3. It was really between Elden Ring and Ragnarok.
Elden Ring and Ragnarok. I mean, I love like Forbidden West, but there's no way it's better than Ragnarok.
Yeah.
Like in my list of PlayStation of any games, of games in general, but of PlayStation exclusives, even like the Horizon series is definitely below these 2 God of War games. Like,
yeah. And then before we get into the Game of the Year, games with the most wins. So God of War Ragnarok won 6, Elden Ring won 4, Final Fantasy 14 won 2, Stray won 2, and Bill Clinton won 1. Shouts out that guy.
Hell yeah.
Okay, so getting into that whole thing. Neither of us have played Elden Ring first and foremost.
Why'd your light go so low now?
I think honestly the sun just went down. Let me turn on my light.
I think the sun just went down. Okay.
It's also 3:30.
Yeah, I know. I was about to say like I'm an hour like time zone different. I thought your light was on this whole time. Oh, he can't hear me. No, I thought your light was on this whole time.
No. It was the sunlight.
That's crazy.
But yeah, so first and foremost, neither of us have played Elden Ring. So whenever we were like, oh yeah,
God of War have seen it played a lot.
Yeah. Whenever we're like, oh, God of War deserved it, I don't like. Yeah, I think God of War is an incredible game, but I can't compare it to Elden Ring.
Yeah, like firsthand, I can't compare it. But like from seeing it, like, and I mean, like my big like so we already basically announced the Elden Ring won.
Yeah.
I'm sure everyone that listens to this podcast knows that already anyway. So you heard it here eventually. Definitely not first. But I have just like one major issue with Elden Ring winning, and it's like I can't picture a game without like an impactful story winning. A lot of Souls games, like you don't play it for the story.
Yeah.
Most people don't even know the fucking story. And yeah, they had George R.R. Martin do world building for this one, but he didn't do the story for it. He did like the world building, like the thousands of years that led up to whatever fucking events were happening in Elden Ring. And if you wanted to know anything about the lore, you had to like find and read all the walls of text like you do in all the other games. Like that's not like no fucking wonder it didn't win like the story one or whatever.
Yeah, it shouldn't have been nominated for that one.
It definitely shouldn't have been nominated for that one because there's no fucking story. I mean, there's like cutscenes with characters that actually talk to you and stuff, but there always have been. Even in the first Dark Souls games, there were these side characters that talk to you, and you could follow their individual storylines. So you could follow individual, just small storylines way better than you could follow the actual storyline of the whole world.
Mm-hmm.
And like, I don't know, that's my biggest issue with it is like, and maybe that's just because I play a game a lot for story as well as gameplay.
Yeah.
But like, I think this is like a bar thing, right? Like, I mean, if Elden Ring was going to win, it had to have a story like direction that was like X, like a minimum bar had to be reached, even if it wasn't as good as God of War. It should be like closer to it than it is. That was my basic problem with it.
So I haven't seen much of Elden Ring because I'm trying to go into it not knowing much. But I think there is more cutscenes than like your average Dark Souls. I'm sure it's still like there's no story overall, but like I think it has more cutscenes than Dark Souls. Like Dark Souls has a one at the beginning and like one at the end.
Yeah, of course. I mean, they have to have more now.
Yeah.
Like basically, in today's world.
The big argument that I was hearing is because again, I haven't played it, but you go into you go into Elden Ring, and you are playing the game for the boss fights. Every boss fight's different. How you adapt to a boss fight, how you do all this, everything is different, and it's amazing in that aspect. Apparently, I'm sure I'm gonna rip my hair out, but whatever. God of War, like at the end of the day, most of the boss fights, if you know how to fight a boss, you know how to fight any enemy. If the thing goes red, you back up or you go to the side. If the thing goes yellow, you put up your shield, you parry. If the thing goes blue, you hit him with the shield strike.
God of War winning the accessibility award was like kneecapping itself, basically. Exactly. For what people are saying is the main reason why.
Well, no, accessibility is not that. Accessibility is like turning on like colorblind mode and all that shit.
Yeah, but having those things is having those like indicators and stuff is kind of part of that.
If you can turn it off, I agree. If you can't, then I don't know if I agree. I don't know if that's a setting. Or no, I think it maybe in God of War difficulty they don't show up. I'm not sure. But yeah, so the main argument I heard going off from that tangent is God of War, you sort of go from cutscene to cutscene, praying for the next cutscene with just like some enemies in between. Elden Ring, you're going from boss to boss. Everything is changing for the most part. New enemies, new this, new that. How you handle everything is so much different. So from a gameplay aspect, and this is game of the year, that's why some people were saying Elden Ring should have won. Now, I think it's all just personal preference. How much, and we both agree, how much do you think story should impact game of the year? I think it should be more, but the people who decided obviously don't think that. So I think that's like what it mainly boils down to is how much do you think story should.
I understand the Elden Ring argument. Like, I mean, but like people saying the combat could be repetitive. I mean, for like God of War, that was one of the things, like the combat gets repetitive and stuff. But I mean, when you're playing, maybe like when you're first playing the game and you're like experimenting with stuff, but basically if you're going to stick with the same weapon and just upgrade it, your actual combat doesn't change much.
Yeah.
Like how you adapt to the bosses is different, but all your attacks are going to be the same. Yeah. If you're doing hit and run tactics, if you're launching magic at them from a distance, like whatever track you decide to go down, it's an RPG. Like whatever track you go down, that's going to be the same.
Yeah.
So the bosses will be slightly different. So like, yeah, I mean, and I get that it is a more diverse experience, I guess.
Yeah.
But like, I mean, when you're looking at the categories, like when you're going through the list, I was just thinking this. The categories that God of War won, I personally, again, personal like thoughts, would think that those are the ones that would impact Game of the Year the most. And like ambient sound would be a lot lower on the totem, like the thing that Elden Ring won. Like,
well, yeah, Elden Ring won direction, art direction. I think that's it. And then Game of the Year.
No, it won the sound thing too. It won 4. Oh, and best role play. Oh, God of War won that one.
Yeah, God of War won the like footsteps one or like the axe throwing. Yeah.
Yeah, so Elden Ring won 0 individual categories basically. Like it won game direction, which is like like the whole game as a whole.
No, and then it won best role play.
Best of its category.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Which God of War won best of its category.
Yeah.
And then what was the last one you said?
Game direction, art direction, yeah. And then game of the year.
Direction. So like, yeah, the enemies and stuff looked very unique and different, which I mean, I get. I mean, God of War would be handcuffed in that regard because they're going based on Norse lore. And I mean, like, they're going to try to be real to the lore.
Yeah.
And they're not going to throw in.
No, but
like,
I think
Greek.
I think what they mean is like, Or like in the repetitive enemies category, like, yeah, you got this like Noken or whatever, that stupid bitch who sings. And then it's like, oh, you get to the end game and you got this Noken with, I don't remember what the name of the enemy is, but it's like a Noken with a new word in front of it. That's
like Hell
basic.
Noken and
Yeah,
stuff. Yeah,
it's
yeah.
the same thing.
Yeah, and they have like basically the same attacks and stuff. Yeah, I know, I get it. But I mean, what I'm saying is like, I mean, these are things that they pulled out of Norse
Yeah,
mythology. Like, there's only so much that they could do. Norse mythology is probably one of the least like diverse in that regard. Like the way the diversity was all like the big characters, all the giants, all the
yeah,
named giants, all the named Aesir gods, all the named Vanir gods. The little things that they like had just in the wilderness and stuff, they were like side notes
yeah,
compared to like Greek mythology, where you have like a ton of
yeah.
creatures. Like Hercules had to kill like 12 unique fucking creatures as part of his 10 labors to make up for him killing his family or shit or
Hmm.
some shit like that. So I mean, for the Greek like games for God of War, they have so much more like varied mythology to pull from. Like Norse mythology is way more limited in scope. Like I guess they were just a less imaginative people or something. I mean, some of the things they came up with is fucking weird. Like how the ship in Helheim is made out of like all the discarded toenail clippings of of the warriors on the battlefield or stuff shit like that.
Yeah,
Like they came up with weird stuff like that, but like they're kind of handcuffed in that regard. And I mean, like compared to the first game, there's not really all that many new enemies, and you go to new realms.
yeah,
So I mean, I understand that as well, but I mean, what were they supposed to do? I mean, if they not that they make a game with the intent of winning all these individual categories and stuff, they made the game the way they wanted to make it, and I'm enjoying it. But like, I mean, to has that as the biggest critique, like there are other like external factors that would
yeah.
impact that. Like Elden Ring is its own lore. They can make up wherever the fuck they want. They could throw a butterfly in that's 100 feet tall. That's somehow this evil, godlike creature that's gonna cocoon you up and then shit on you or something.
That is a boss
And
in
that's
Dark
its ultimate
Souls.
attack. Yeah.
Mhm.
So like they can
Listen,
do whatever the fuck they want. So it's
I
like it's a varied thing there.
I will play Elden Ring. It's probably gonna be a couple pods before I beat it, but I will report back, and I will be the deciding factor if the Game Awards made the right decision. It will be on me.
He is the fact checker
I'm
of
I
these
am
people.
I'm not very close to being Chrono Trigger, but I'm a decent way through the game. Fun ass game, by the way. I mentioned it last week. Real fun game.
Mhm.
Decent of the way through that. Probably beat it in like a stream or two, and then I will begin my Elden Ring journey.
Nice.
Yeah.
It's good that it's next. You play it so close to God of War, you can actually directly compare them,
Yeah.
like combat wise and stuff. Um, but yeah, no, I mean, again, I mean, not playing Elden Ring, but like having seen a bunch of it, it is also just not really my cup of tea. So I'm obviously biased.
Yeah.
But I don't like based on game like God of War won a lot of categories that are like way more specific to like individual aspects of the game, and then it doesn't win Game of the Year. It's like,
Yeah.
I mean, there was also the year that it won Game of the Year, 2018. Red Dead Redemption 2 was its biggest competition,
Mm-hmm.
and Red Dead Redemption 2 won like 19 awards, and then God of War won Game of the Year. So it's basically
Yeah.
like a reverse story.
Yeah.
And I never played Red Dead Redemption 2, but I have a friend who beat Red Dead Redemption 2, and the next game he played was 2018, and he just beat it.
Mm-hmm.
And like he was basically like 90% way through that game, and he was like, "Yeah, in 2018, God of War definitely deserved to win Game of the Year. It's better." So like, I mean, he has the same situation as you. You're gonna play both and kind of be able to
Yeah.
compare them.
Yeah.
And I mean, he's a very critiqueful person. Like he critiques things to an extreme
Mm-hmm.
level. So like when he says something like that, it has more of an impact on me than just some random
Yeah.
person or like some random friend that likes all games and stuff.
Yeah.
Like he basically plays stuff and then points out all of the flaws and issues with something, and also is pretty good at like appreciating the good aspects of something. So having just played like Red Dead Redemption 2 and then playing God of War 2018, I mean it's like, all right, then I guess that's valid.
Yeah.
I mean, you also played Red Dead Redemption 2 at some. I don't. You didn't play 2018 all that close to it,
Yeah. No, 2018
like
was
a
the
year
first
and a
game
half
I ever
apart or something.
streamed. And that was probably 2 years later or something. Yeah.
Yeah, so it's hard to compare it there, but
I also have very bad memory. Like, I think I need to see a doctor. Like,
yeah,
I played Infamous somewhat recently on stream. Spoilers for Infamous, but it's fucking old as shit. Get over it. Um, I played it a long time ago when I first got a PS3 in like 2010 or whatever. And then I played it recently, like 12 years later. I didn't remember the big twist that like the main villain is you from the future. The biggest
I
twist of the game.
I have a bad memory too, but I remember the big twists. So that one's actually pretty surprising how you could forget that.
I was like, holy frick. But also I
Yeah.
like that because then I can like watch an anime years later and be like, I don't remember anything.
Yeah. Yeah.
But I'm good with some stuff, which is weird. Like my childhood best friend's phone number, home phone number that I haven't called in years, I know it.
Yeah, I still have that stuff locked away in my memory. I know like 4 or 5 phone numbers from when I was a kid, and I would have like, I mean, I didn't have cell phones, save
Yeah.
numbers. I literally had to dial them on the house phone every time.
Mm-hmm.
So
But
yeah,
we are also at about an
I mean,
hour. So
mhm.
do we want to do something else? Do
I
we?
said I would talk about it, so I do want to talk about it a
Oh,
little
the
bit.
DC.
The DC stuff, yeah. Yeah. Just so basically the summary is James Gunn and another person whose name I always forget because he's not James Gunn.
Peter something.
Yeah, whatever. They're doing like the same job that Kevin Feige does for Marvel. Like they are like coordinating the entire universe for DC.
Mm-hmm.
They literally got hired to do this like 2 months ago. They're walking in this week into Warner Bros. CEO's office or like whoever the head honcho is for the parent companies. And they're pitching their vision for basically the next 10 years.
Mm-hmm.
So similar to like a Marvel timeline for like phases and stuff. And they include everything. So like Marvel is like the Marvel Cinematic Universe, and then they have the TV shows that they kind of tie in sometimes and things like that. But DC is basically going like for like 100% like cohesion. So
Well,
it's
wait,
going to
what do you mean by
include
Marvel sometimes? Are you talking like Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. or are you talking like Miss Marvel? Because that I think ties in, that I think is what DC's trying to do. But
well,
like,
no,
yeah,
they're old
Agents of
TV
S.H.I.E.L.D.
shows. Not
Oh,
not
okay.
the Disney Plus series obviously tie
Okay.
in
Yeah,
all of
yeah, I
them.
was confused. Okay,
They're
yeah.
obviously part of the DCEU, but or the
The
Marvel
MCU.
MCU. But like the old TV shows, like Agents of
Yeah.
Shield, like they kind of talked about how the other heroes were out there, but they were just totally like these nobodies.
Mm-hmm.
And then they had the other shows that were
The
kind of out,
Daredevil.
yeah, like the stuff on Netflix, things like that. Like now they're kind of bringing them back into the mesh. Um, but like DC is going for like 100% cohesion. I don't know if I can't remember if comics are included, but I know movies, television shows, I think books. So if they release like actual like print hard copy books or like ebooks and things like that, not necessarily comics,
Mm-hmm.
maybe like graphic novels and stuff, and then games. And James Gunn has like repeatedly like made sure to include games on that list, which is what we were talking about for like the Arkham stuff.
Yeah.
Uh, and they had this like release. I don't know if it was a leak or if it was like whatever. But basically, they told Wonder Woman 3's director like her movie doesn't fit in with their
Yeah. And then
vision.
she
So
was told she could
that's
rewrite it and
axed.
she decided not to.
Yeah, so she was given the option or whatever, and then it was axed. And I mean, that's probably because Wonder Woman 1984 did not do nearly as well as the
The
initial Wonder
first,
Woman
yeah.
movie. And I mean, personally, having seen them, 1984, I didn't care all that much about it. It didn't seem as awesome.
Yeah, I didn't
I
hate
never
it.
really
Like
like.
I don't think it deserved all the hate, but I also was not nearly as good as the first one.
Yeah, I never really like a story where like the heroes losing their powers throughout the thing and like they're starting to take damage. Like, I don't want to see Superman that's damaged by bullets. I want to see Superman who's fucking Superman and stuff
Yeah.
like basically. I don't want to see yeah, someone who's like is somehow losing their abilities or like, passing the torch and stuff like whatever. I want to see actual superhero action and stuff. Um so that was like all the news that came from that, but people have extrapolated it to great extents. Like basically saying like Black Adam didn't do as well. Like there's an argument, was Black Adam successful or not? Black Adam brought Henry Cavill back in as Superman. Is he out again because like The Rock had to fight the studio for like months to get Henry
Yeah.
Cavill back into the cape and stuff? I don't know why they hate him. He's literally the Superman of our generation. Every single post I saw that was like a reaction to the news about Wonder Woman or like to any articles that were written about it was just don't replace Henry Cavill as Superman. That was like the
Yeah.
one thing. That's the one outstanding thing. Please don't do that. You know, like to reboot the whole series, reboot everything. Who cares? And then there's also like this news that Jason Momoa might not be Aquaman anymore. But he might
Mm.
become a different DC
Yeah,
character, Lobo.
Lobo. Yeah.
I
That'd
don't,
be
and I was
cool.
going to ask you about this. Who is Lobo? I don't
I
actually
don't
know
he's like an
Lobo.
anti-hero, I think. I don't know too much about him, but I mean, if Jason Momoa likes him, which means he'd probably
apparently
be
he
he's like
went
the
out and
biggest.
tweeted or something saying that he was going to get his like a lifelong dream was going to come true with his DC work
Yeah,
in the coming future or
and he
something.
like
So
owns all the comics or whatever. And I think like he's this like weird badass character who would probably fit Jason Momoa more than Aquaman. And
well, yeah, Aquaman is normally this like blonde haired like Adonis from
yeah,
down in the deep sea and stuff. So
but yeah, I think that'd be cool. But also,
it's tough to do though. Like you
it's very
recast a
tough.
major hero as a different hero.
Well, see, it's not tough to do if you reset entirely. But
which is why people think they have to do the reset entirely if they're going to do that stuff.
yeah, but the problem then is like I feel like it's very confusing to casual viewers. Like we're gonna get it. We're gonna get okay. Jason Momoa is now Lobo. Someone else is Aquaman. Whatever. Henry Cavill's still
Well, don't
Superman.
have anyone else be Aquaman or something.
Yeah.
Or I don't even know what would be clear to a casual fan. Would it be clear to have a new Aquaman, or would it be clear to just not have Aquaman in the DC
Well, you need to have Aquaman
movies for a while?
Oh, maybe for a while.
You don't need to have Aquaman. There's tons of TV shows there's the whole Justice League cartoon that was fucking awesome where he wasn't part of it.
Oh, really?
They had Jon Stewart as Green Lantern instead of Hal Jordan. Yeah. They had Martian Manhunter. And stuff, yeah.
The thing that I think would be confusing is when you start a new universe, which we both think they should do. You start a new universe, but you keep some actors the same and some different. So then the casual viewers are like, this is a sequel to Justice League, where we last saw Henry Cavill, if you're not counting Black Adam post-credit scene. So it's like, this is a sequel to that. But then in this universe, that didn't really happen. And then Jason Momoa is now this random character who we don't know too much about. And he's not Aquaman anymore. And I feel like that for casual people could get a little confusing. But I don't know. Also, people were saying
what they do with the other heroes.
People were saying maybe
want Henry Cavill as
maybe the Batman is the
Superman.
first movie in this new universe, which I'd be a little down with. I did enjoy the Batman.
I'm fine with that, only for mostly for the reason I just don't want to see another fucking Batman origin story.
Oh no, that's why I love the Batman, is because it was just like I'm here, and it may only be my like second year or whatever as Batman, so I'm still somewhat new, but my parents aren't getting shot.
No origin stuff. Yeah. No origin stuff, yeah.
They did it perfectly. I think there was like a reference to it, or like there was a dream of it. There was something very tiny about it. But yeah, no, I like that movie. So yeah,
I enjoyed the movie. If they didn't do anything in slow mo, I think it'd be a better movie. Because the scenes where they slow mo are so
I'm sure
stupid.
You can find a cut online where someone's like the Batman, but I made every scene in real time or something. And it'd be like 30 minutes shorter. Yeah.
Yeah. And like it's him wading through water holding a flare. Why is that in slow motion? That doesn't need to be in slow motion.
Because it's like impactful. He is the beacon of hope for Gotham.
The music makes it impactful. The slow motion is so stupid.
Yeah, but if he was just walking, he's like, I'm the beacon. Or if he's like, I am the beacon. The music wouldn't fit if it was in real time.
Agree to disagree on this one. I'm not getting it. I just think that was very stupid. I think most of the slow motion stuff they did was stupid. So
I don't see, talking about my memory again, I don't remember any slow motion except the beacon one.
Yeah, I mean, well, that's the longest, most egregious one. It's like 2 minutes of slow motion, like solid, and then he finally finds the people, and then I think it's slow motion again when he's saving them, like literally just pulling them out. Like it's only real time for a second as he like pulls up like the whatever and finds where they are.
Yeah,
but I just don't want to see another fucking Batman origin story.
And movie. I don't think they would, unless.
I think James Gunn must be enough of a fan to know that no one wants to fucking see that like 4 times within like 2 decades.
Here's the thing: so the Batman 2 right now is greenlit, but even when the DCEU was happening, this movie was still separate from it. So it's like, that's why I think even if they scrap the DCEU and they do the DCU, they can still have Batman in its own universe.
Yeah, but they said specifically they're not going to do that.
That doesn't make sense to me.
He said specifically, like, there's too many different things going on. He wants them all to be like one cohesive story.
Yeah, no, one cohesive story, but you can do that with a multiverse story.
You can do it with a multiverse, but then it's not like Batman is separate. Like, he's just part of the universe, but he's part of just a different universe. And
no.
Flashpoint or something.
No. He'd be the DCU would have their own Batman, and the Arkhamverse would have their own Batman, and then the Batman would have their own Batman.
Yeah, they're definitely 100% not doing that. That is something that James Gunn specifically said they don't want because they think it's too confusing for casual viewers. Probably, I don't know if they said casual viewers, but he said like they want to bring everything together under one cohesive storyline or whatever. And that's why all the different media types are going to be part of their vision, part of their plan. And I mean, who knows? Maybe the head honchos at Warner Bros. Was like, no, we want to keep this separate, and they're not going to be able to overrule the head honchos. But
Mm-hmm.
I mean, the head honchos picked them for a reason. They're probably going to just do whatever the fuck these two guys go in there and pitch.
Yeah. I don't know.
But a lot of people extrapolated a lot of stuff based on these stories. Like, is Gal Gadot even Wonder Woman? Which I think they confirmed, yeah. And she went on Twitter and said that she's excited to show you the next chapter in Wonder Woman's story.
No, she tweeted that 2 days before the cancellation news came out. When she thought that it was still happening. I assume.
Did the cancellation news break immediately upon them telling her that? I feel like maybe she would have had a 2-day head start notice on it.
Yeah, true. I don't know.
So I don't know to the extent of that. I just am waiting for a Henry Cavill tweet saying, yes, I am still Superman. James Gunn told me so.
Yeah.
Then I don't care what he does. Other than no Batman origin story. Those are my two big things. Henry Cavill has got to stay Superman. There's no reason why he wouldn't be. There's no reason to try and make it someone else. He is literally the best person to step into the red cape ever, period. I don't care. I mean, yeah, people love Christopher Reeves. The movies are fucking like 40 or 50 years old at this point. They were great for their time. I don't think that he is literally the most iconic Superman. I think for comic, like true to comic form, Henry Cavill. I mean, they asked him to shave his chest hair for his shirtless scenes in Man of Steel. He combed through the comics and found images of Superman shirtless where he had chest hair.
That's
and
hilarious.
He was like, I think that it's more authentic to have the chest hair because Superman, the only times you ever see him without hair in the comics or without a shirt in the comics, he has the chest hair. And then they were like, oh, of course, yes, go ahead and keep it. When he was on the set for The Witcher, he read all the books and he was pulling lines out of the books and feeding them to his co-stars and saying, this is what your character should say in this moment. He also dives into a project.
If he does not be Superman anymore, that is the biggest flop on Netflix I've ever seen in my life. Because I'm pretty sure he stopped doing Witcher because of the DC news and how busy that was going to be.
I think it was like a small aspect of it, but he went out and said no. He said that the reason why he dropped out of the project was because they were diverting from the source material so much that he didn't like it.
Yeah.
But I think that it must have some impact on it where like he was like thinking to himself, if I'm going to be Superman again and I want to be Superman and they're going to do like this like Marvel like universe where I could be in like 3 different movies in 1 year, am I going to be able to film 3 months out of the year for The Witcher?
Yeah.
And be this like different character?
I'm at the point where like I'm not going to watch Witcher until someone tells me that Liam Hemsworth is amazing. But like I saw the first 2 episodes of season 1, I think, and I didn't get like super hooked. And then later I played the first game and I thought it was good. And I'm gonna play the second one soon-ish. But in regards to the show, I'm pretty much just never gonna watch it now unless I hear that Liam Hemsworth is awesome.
Well, I'm gonna watch it since I've already watched the first 2 seasons, and in the 3rd season, it's still him.
Yeah.
So the whole 3rd season is still him. So if you like Witcher 2. And I mean, if you play Witcher 2, you probably should just continue on and play Witcher 3, to be honest.
Yeah.
If you like the games, I think it's worth watching.
But isn't it like
the first few seasons.
Isn't it like so the books, the shows adapt the books, and the books are before the games, but the games take place in a separate world where instead of the books end with him dying, they end with him getting amnesia, and then that's where the game picks up.
I don't know where the books end, but I mean the games do have the amnesia thing,
which isn't a thing I've heard, or like, yeah, I don't know.
The books might be too old. The books might be so old where that is the ending point. I don't know where the books end, but yeah, the books and the show are set before even the first game.
Yeah,
like you wake up and he has amnesia or whatever. I'm pretty sure in the first game.
Yeah.
But no, in this one he doesn't have amnesia yet or anything, and it's a lot of stuff. I mean, and if you play the games first before you watch the show, you're gonna have some big spoilers for the show.
Well, didn't they? Isn't like one of the things in the first game is that like I cured a princess or whatever before, and then she turns into like some demon or something again, and then in the show that happens.
In the show,
and it's the first time I'm curing her.
Yeah, in the show, it's the first time. Yeah,
yeah.
Like you cure her from her curse.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, no,
Okay.
the first like few seasons are adapting the books, but I think the showrunners came out and said that they're not huge fans of his work, like in general, and they want to adapt it, like they want to deviate like far from it. They've already introduced some characters who are not in the books
It just doesn't make
in the
sense.
show.
You
So
saw how Game of Thrones worked out. No one liked the ending of Game of Thrones. I don't think a single person was like, yeah, that was cool. Ever. Like
yeah,
the general consensus on the internet is Game of Thrones seasons like 7 and 8, when they started deviating, are bad. Just
they
like,
started deviating in season 5, and it
oh,
started to go a little bit
yeah.
downhill. Yeah,
And it's like,
because they ran out. They ran out of books.
like, okay, yeah, Game of Thrones, they had a reason. It doesn't excuse them, but at least they had a reason that they
Well,
literally could not.
they had the bullet points from George R. R. Martin of the where he was going to where he was
But
very
did he
likely going to
ignore
take the
it?
story. No,
Like,
no, they tried to follow the bullet points. So a lot of those things are major bullet points, but
it was just
like it's
rushed.
like taking a bulleted list from one page in a Word document and turning it into 3 seasons.
Yeah.
And they just did not. They were good at adapting material that existed. They were not good at making their own material.
Yeah.
And when they had to make their own material, they focused on all the wrong things. The cinematography, fantastic.
Mm-hmm.
The CGI, especially for a show that's not like a big budget movie where it's like it's on HBO, they're well funded, but it's still a streaming service at this point. Like really great, fantastic work on the CGI. But the story makes or breaks basically anything, right?
Yeah.
Like yeah, for video games you have gameplay. That's the overarching like important thing. But when you're talking about movies or TV shows and stuff, the story is the number one. And like yes, there's a bar. We've talked about this multiple times. Like the graphics can't be like literally like hand drawn shit
Yeah.
in an animated series or something. There is a minimum for it to still be considered good, even if it has an amazing story. But like the story is the thing you focus on more. And they didn't. Now, I don't know if these people are going to adapt in a different way or whatever, but if Henry Cavill isn't a fan of it, it's a very big asterisk next to like, am I going to enjoy this stuff? Also, putting Liam Hemsworth's face on into Geralt's shoes and stuff online, it just looks comically dumb.
Yeah.
They don't have nearly the same build. If it was Chris Hemsworth, they have basically the same build.
Yeah.
And
Which
it would
he's
be totally
also
fine.
taking a break from acting.
They also have the gruff voice. Yeah, but he's taking a fucking break. I bet you they wanted him. But he's also he's an even bigger name than Henry Cavill, basically, because he's in the Marvel universe. So they maybe probably couldn't get him, even if he was still acting. Like, and he's taking a break until Thor has to come back, I'm sure, because he's contractually obligated, I'm sure, because they said Thor will return. So it's a big blow for Witcher. I don't think that, I mean, if he gets axed as Superman, I think that people would just be like literally gunning from, I'm sure Marvel would gun.
Oh yeah.
For him to be probably anybody. They probably are like, fuck, why'd we cast Hercules? But like, yeah, they would make him something. Some gargantuan, just like strong person. Maybe if they need to recast Drax, like from Batista.
Which I think he's fucking yeeted. I think most of the Guardians are gonna die in this movie.
Yeah. For 3, probably.
I think Rocket's dead, and I think Drax is dead. Well,
sure. Rocket being killed wouldn't really necessarily be the end of him because he was literally like a raccoon that was taken apart and put back together.
Well, that's what
so they could probably
take
him apart.
They
could probably take him apart and put him back together. Yeah. They could probably just put him back together though. Not like unlike how they could for everyone else. Anyone who dies in Marvel at this point though, I mean, who the fuck knows? Because they have the multiverse officially established and these characters exist in the other universes, so they could easily pull one out. I mean, we literally have like a out of time Gamora in this now, so why wouldn't we just have like a different universe's Gamora come in, or like a different universe's Drax or stuff? Or like maybe the Guardians are from another universe, or like the original Guardians from the actual comics, and then that's who takes over. Like cool. Younger versions of the guys who are old in this series.
Yeah, like the Sylvester Stallone or whatever.
Sylvester Stallone and Yondu and stuff. You could even bring back the same actor for Yondu. How like fuck, I would love that. Michael Rooker. Yeah. Rooker or whatever. But and speaking of that, this is the last thing. Unless you want to do something else, this is the last thing I also want to talk about. Transitioning into that, so like the James Gunn news basically covered all that. I'm sure that their vision will be fantastic. I just hope it doesn't involve like axing Henry Cavill and some of these other like good actors who are good in their roles just because you need to reset it for everyone else. Because then like let's face it, if whoever you cast as the next ones are going to be compared very strictly to the ones that existed and
it's
everyone
not going to be
loved,
fair
and
to
if they're
them. Like
not,
they could be 9 out of 10 actors, but when you have Henry Cavill, people are going to shit on them
because he was a 10 out of 10 Superman.
Yeah.
Let's face it.
And it's just not fair to those people then.
Yeah. And then the other news I want to talk about, and we could probably continue this in the next podcast, like next week too, after we get a little bit more clarity on what's going on, or maybe it'll be a couple podcasts from now. Bob Chapek out, Bob Iger back in.
Yeah.
And we talked about this offline, and we said it's mostly related to like the theme parks and how he mishandled COVID and how he mishandled some other stuff. But Bob Iger came in and said basically the same thing as James Gunn when it came to Marvel. He said we need to start going back to a quality over quantity approach.
I did see that
to Marvel,
and I think, like, let's be real. Phase 4, I like most things that come out Marvel. We've talked about how biased I am. Phase 4 wasn't the best, all in all.
It's the weakest phase of all of them. I mean, they have a monumental task of trying to replace all of the really, really fantastic, beloved actors. Benedict Cumberbatch is a superstar. He's supposed to be like basically the next center of the phases and stuff. I don't think that what Iger's going to do is like rewrite phase 4 or whatever, but I think that they're going to be axing some projects the same way that DC has in the past, but for the greater good.
But yeah,
like,
I also
maybe
think,
bring
like,
them in other
even
ways.
if, like, let's say they axe, I'm trying to think of an example that I wouldn't be too mad if they axe
the War Machine movie.
Yeah, if they axe Armor Wars as a decision from higher up than Kevin Feige, I'm sure Kevin Feige's gonna make like a miniature arc of that in another movie or TV show. Like, he's gonna fit Don Cheadle somewhere where the same outcome, if Don Cheadle dies in Armor Wars, let's say, same outcome is gonna happen. The big implications for the universe are still gonna happen wherever that arc takes place.
Yeah, I think it's gonna be more like they have to just take a more focused approach.
Yeah,
because from all the other shows, like from some of the other Marvel things that have come out, like they're already doing a little bit too much in each movie and in each series, I think. Like, and I mean, we talked about Black Panther 2 and stuff. They introduced, Midnight Angel plus Midnight Angel 2, since there's 2 suits. I don't even know if that has a different unique name. They never said it in the movie. They have Ironheart. They never name her. The only way that you know that she's Ironheart is a little clip of like torching out the heart, which I said before also. And they introduced 3 new heroes plus the new Black Panther, all in like a 2-hour movie, and it doesn't really give enough focus on any one of them. And then maybe Kevin Feige's plan is I expand on these in other projects, but I think Bob Iger's approach here is going to be like, no, you need to tell the stories when the characters come to life. Like, you need to bring them to life, not just like give people these like little weird teasers in like a major motion picture and then expect them to then go on Disney Plus and watch a 10-episode series to find out more about these characters and stuff.
Yeah.
So I think it's going to be there'll be a more focused approach. I personally think it's a good thing if they do it. I also am a fan of most things Marvel, but I do think they're getting a little bit hectic and a little bit like too all over the place, especially now that you have like a multiverse coming in. Like, it's already going to be just naturally more complicated from that concept alone. So I want the characters who are being introduced now, I want to like learn about them. Like, I'm fine with Falcon and Winter Soldier, how they built up US Agent.
Yeah.
Like, his whole thing. Yeah, I see Jesus. He's in the back. You actually can't see him on my camera.
He's in the darkness.
He's absolutely dark. Ready? Watch this. Alexa, turn on the light.
Wow, look at that.
Still can't see him. That's just how dark he is. Like midnight.
Midnight Angel.
During an eclipse. But yeah, so I personally think it's a good thing. Like this notion, at least that's my take on what he said. I mean, it's literally one sentence.
Yeah.
We have to extrapolate from it. So we'll see where all the cards end up falling on the table.
Maybe next week we find all confirmed Marvel projects and we say yes,
which ones we think
or scrap.
Like, which ones we think they should
like, for example, also we have
Loki 2, for example, big 2 thumbs up.
Well, see, the thing is we have to also rank them with the knowledge we currently know. So, like, for one spoiler, for my opinion, Ironheart, I think, has to be a thumbs up because you introduced her and because you like only sort of teased her. So we can't go back and change Black Panther and say, oh, I want them to do more with her in that movie. That already happened. We can't change that. So Ironheart for me would have to be a thumbs up because we didn't get too much on her in that movie.
Yeah, I mean, well, we could also rank it as like I think it should be a thumbs up of like do the project, the thumbs down of scrap it entirely, and then the sideways thumb is like a shift of the character. Either shift that like a TV series into its own movie, or shift like its own a series into making that character like a main part of another series. So like instead of being like Loki 2 all about Loki, like this is an example that would never happen, but Loki 2 not being all about Loki, but being like Loki 2 and then Ironheart's introduced there and she's in every episode as like some sort of sidekick or like her storylines. So like we could do like a shift that way and say like, no, we need this character instead of having their own show. They should just be a big part of another show or something. Or maybe they need to combine these things. Gotcha. But you know, I like that idea as a project. We should like write this down. That's like I'll write it in like the drive, our drive thing that we need to do. But I just wanted to bring that up while it was fresh on my mind because that quote literally just came out. So I mean, it's like 3 weeks old for everyone listening. But I think it's just funny because we were like, oh, he probably won't shake up Marvel too much because Kevin Feige was under him. Yeah, he probably still trusts him and stuff. But now it's like, I guess he's a Marvel fan and he's like, this is too much.
Exactly. But yeah, no, I think quality over quantity will be good for Marvel. I've liked most of the projects that come out. I still haven't seen Werewolf by Night and Guardians Holiday Special. Both I've heard are great. Like they're just one-off 40-minute things, and I've heard the stories in there are great. So
yeah, I need to watch both of them as well.
Still stay tuned for the rewatch and review of Modern Family. We haven't talked about that. But that will be happening eventually.
I brought it up to Karina. I was like, we have to stop watching New Girl on rerun and we have to watch Modern Family season 1 again. She's like, oh, I love Modern Family, so let's do it.
Heck yeah. Hopefully the 3 weeks will shorten down to like 2 weeks and maybe 1 week, when we get busy with Christmas. I'll still have backlog, but we probably won't record. So it will hopefully not be 3 weeks old news when shit comes out.
Mm-hmm. We can get down to same week. We just have to when we got to make it once we know that we're on top of our shit 100%, which I think we are, but let's give it another like week or two.
Yeah. Saturday to Thursday turnaround time shouldn't be too bad.
Yeah.
But that is going to end it for today. Thanks everyone for listening, watching, like the podcast, follow it on Spotify, do all the things, like it on YouTube, share it with your friends.
Yeah, and by the time this comes out, I promise to have at least looked into the platforms that it doesn't work on right now, like Stitcher and Apple Podcasts. All right, so and stuff.
Episode 9. This will hopefully come out on maybe the day before New Year's Eve, December 29th. This should come out, I think, unless I'm calculating wrong. And
I don't know.
I don't know my backlog, but
it's too much processing for my brain right now.
Yeah, but hopefully by the time the new year starts, 2023, January 1st, we will see why some of the other platforms aren't working.
Yeah.
But yeah, thanks everyone for listening. You didn't hear it here first. You didn't hear it here last. You heard it here. Eventually.